Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rachak Wadash, the warners of the apostles and others at Millstone who wrote well and taught us this 100% truth. Much peace and blessings be unto you all who like that to push out this word of all truth and sincerity to all you Akim say Shalom. So, this is a quick redo on a lesson I've done earlier entitled, Ye Shall Be a Spoil, referring to all these heathen nations, going into slavery under us. Because what happens is that Esau Edom is still messing with the audio. And as a matter of fact, you got tons of distractions if you ask what Satan do. Alright, when you press start, when you press record, all you got is distraction this, distraction that, and the third, but nevertheless, we're going to get it out. Lord wills, that'll fine. But I was going into these heathen nations being a spoil unto us, and you got these bug out Israelites. I mentioned these bug out Israelites out here, like Zechariah and ISCBK. What they do on their camp videos is just freaking, yell like Esau and have them bow down and kiss their damn shoes. All right, now you got Deacon Akkad being carnal minded and slapping the hell out of an Edomite for no damn reason. All right, that's literally off, man. All right, that's literally off to see, Israelite, known as an Israelite in this truth, in the land of their captivity, beat down an Edomite. All right, the hell? Just because he's losing his power doesn't mean that you get to freaking do that to him. No. Right? That's literally off. Because we're not in our rest. This ain't the kingdom of heaven. Alright? That's literally off to freaking beat down an Edomite in his own kingdom. And a precept to that would be the book of Micah, the 2nd chapter, verse 10. Alright, that's already unwise, man. Alright, because here it is, you already got Esau here and whatnot. They're trying to freaking, target us, and that's going to lead to persecution very soon, which is prophecy. But they're already, blaming us for many deaths. Alright, by these unruly guys and whatnot. Which really, they aren't in this truth. But they want to freaking point it, link them to the Hebrews. Like, they in this truth. But then you got guys that actually are, and they're doing this stuff. They don't what's that one? They don't discriminate between groups, Israelite groups, all right? They just call us Hebrew Israelites in general. So, there's actual sincere Akim that's gonna get called out, for something Deacon Akkad does, man. All right, this is the book of Micah, the 2nd chapter, verse 10, and it reads, "Arise and depart, for this is not your rest." All right, America is not the land of our rest. All right, this place is our hellhole, our captivity. So beat down Edomite is off, man, because it is polluted, and that's why we have all these philosophies, because these philosophies, lead you to a road of condemnation. In other words, it should destroy you, even with the sword of destruction. All right. So ultimately, we're gonna have slaves, and we're gonna beat down Edomites and whatnot in the kingdom of heaven. Not right now. One of the Akin told me that too. Just because he's falling off in power doesn't mean that you can't hold the door for him. So, what I wanted to get was the book of Revelation, the 19th chapter, verse 11, because it is talking about Yahweh Shai. When he cracks down the sky, what's going to happen is that he's going to subdue all nations and establish a kingdom in righteousness. And that's why you read about that war in heaven, in Daniel, the 12th chapter, verse 1. And by this time, when he delivers the elect and brings us back to our land, all you remnants out of all the heathen nations, you guys will be the first within the slavery. So verse 11, it says, "And I saw heaven opened, and behold a white horse, which that white horse represents a chariot. And he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True. And that's Yahweh Shai. And in righteousness he doth judge and make war." Or you have to realize, man, that to say that the judgment of the Lord, Yahweh or Yahweh Shai, is righteous. So to say that Yahweh Shai is coming back here to do is wrong and terrible, it's off, man. All right, you're off. Because, again, it's righteous. So what's this right here? "And in righteousness he doth judge and make war." Because he's not going to establish a kingdom in righteousness, being co-joined with the damn heathen empire. All right? It's prophecy that all these heathen nations shall be subdued. All right? And to say that there's going to be China still in power, that's ridiculous, man. All right? This ain't going to be like the times of King Solomon, where heathen kings serving us. No, you guys will all be in slavery. You guys will lose your ranks. All right, so you taught banking family, all right, elites, you damn elites. You guys will lose your rank by the time Yahweh Shai cracks down the sky, and the rest of you heathen nations that have some sort of rank and authority. So it goes on to say, his eyes was a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns. Yeah, because he's coming here to strip away all your guys' power. All right. So Russia, all right, Europe, primarily America, China, Australia, the UK, New Zealand, all of Africa, with all those countries in Africa, all right, Middle East, all you guys will go into captivity. All right. So even Eve will go into captivity, meaning that she'll have no authority over herself, man. All right. So she won't freaking talk bad to the Israelite man. She won't do this and then a third, because she's practically gonna be our slave, if you will, man. So. And on it says were many crowns, and he had a name written that no man knew by himself. And he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood, and his name was called the Word of God. And that's pursuant to the book of John the first chapter, verse 1. All right, so by then that will be the only time when we'll actually have slaves. Right now we won't. All right, but now the whole premise of the lesson was just going into how the heathen nations will go into captivity, will be a spoil unto us, and that's in the book of Zechariah, the 2nd chapter, verse 8. So bear with me, Akim. Trying to find it. That's what bugs him, man. Esau Edom, always messing with the freaking damn technology. After all, this is technology, man. So it is bound to be whack. But this is the book of Zechariah, the 2nd chapter, verse 8, and it reads, "For thus saith the Lord of hosts, after the glory hath he sent me unto the nations which spoiled you." And that word spoiled, the modern definition of it would be, you've been spoiled, all right? Like a spoiled brat, meaning you take things for granted. All right, but in this case, it's an archaic term, which that word archaic means ancient. All right, so it's ancient definition means rob. All right, to rob, to take goods. So the nations which spoiled you, meaning that the nations which robbed us, all right, because each heathen nation had a part in beating us down. All right, and that's by way of in the book of Judges. All right, well, we have the four main empires rule, which we are an extension of the fourth beast, which is that little horn America. But all these nations had a part in beating us down. You had King Eglon, the damn Moabite king, who oppressed us, for a certain amount of years. So to say that only Esau did us wrong, and he's the only one who went into captivity, that's off. All you nations are going into captivity. And it's going to be a brutal captivity for 1,000 slow years. And it's going to be worse for the nation of Edom. Alright, but going on to Zechariah, the 2nd chapter, it goes on to say, "For he that toucheth you touches the apple of his eye." Yeah, man, he that touches you touches the apple of his eye. And that apple of his eye, basically means something precious to your sight, which what's precious to the Lord's eyes is the nation of Israel. Because he has a love for us, man. Alright, he shows a certain nation out of all peoples, all right, to be his glory, to be his inheritance. That's the nation of Israel. And a precept to that would be in the book of Romans, 9th chapter, verse 31. Well, that's echoing Malachi, the 1st chapter, verse 2, if I'm not mistaken. But going on, book of Romans. Damn it. Bear with me, Akim. Alright, the 9th chapter, verse 13, it reads, "As it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated." Alright, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. And what came out of the loins of Jacob? The 12 sons, or the 12 tribes, and that's us. So, verse 9, Zechariah the 2nd chapter says, "For behold, I will shake mine hand upon them, and they shall be a spoil to their servants." And who are their servants? Us, man. We guys are your servants. And that was back then by way of hardcore bondage, because that word servant basically means slave. Alright, synonymous to the word slave. So we were your slaves back in hardcore bondage, and even now we're still your slaves, because we're not sovereign. That's lucky about that. Another distraction, as always. What I was going into was that we were slaves back in hardcore slavery. And as a matter of fact, we're still you guys as slaves because we're not sovereign. As a matter of fact, when you want to do a trade or deal, you always gotta sign something, all right, a contract, because we're voluntary slaves by way of that paper, man. So that's how we guys. That's how we got. That's how we're your servants, man. You know, and I pray to prove that, as well as in the book of Deuteronomy, the 20th chapter, which is a curse placed upon us, and we're still under the curses. All right. So the freaking, you know, have a damn Edomite freaking bow down. That's off, man. That's literally off. All right, because we're still under the curses. Yeah, I wish I didn't come back to deliver us yet. We're not in the kingdom of heaven. All right, but that's all getting ready to happen very soon. All right, that's what I just say. You know, he that endures until the end, the saint shall be saved. You know, we all gotta have to suffer patiently. That's what it means by endure. All right, but this is the book of Deuteronomy, the 20th chapter, verse 48, and it reads, "Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, and who are enemies? The nation of Edom." Why? Because the Esau is a perpetual hatred upon us, and that's pursuant to the book of Ezekiel, the 35th chapter, verse 5. So it wasn't to say, in hunger, slack it, therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee in hunger, and in thirst, and in nakedness, and in want of all things, and he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. And Southern Kingdom, or our people, Southern Kingdom, are the only people to actually have an actual yoke of iron upon them. Or no Elamites with the yoke of iron. No Edomites with the yoke of iron. No Japhethites with the yoke of iron. Why? Because none of you guys went through the BS we had to go through, man. You know? And keep in mind, this is all for the controversy of Zion. So all you damn heathen nations are gonna freaking suffer the worst toll you guys will ever feel, man. Alright, worse than what we have to go through. And you better listen up, Esau, because man, you guys have a treat coming in. All right, it won't be pleasant. It won't be pleasant. So Isaiah the 33rd chapter, Isaiah 33 verse 9, it reads, "Woe to thee that spoilest, and thou was not spoiled." And that's Esau Edom, man. Alright, he did spoil, man, and he wasn't not spoiled. And he was treacherously. He's only dealt treacherously with us. Alright, and that was by way of the 1400s, the 1500s, the 1600s, the 1700s, the 1800s, the 1900s, even right now here and there. Alright, and even now it's getting very, it's like coming real soon. So like about my story, and coming real soon by way of Jacob's trouble, you're gonna have Esau, getting on you, Jake, man. And one of the acting from the GMS Cleveland camp even said, if you look at Buttercup Brown, roughly paraphrasing right there, Esau's gonna go looking for you, man. All right, because Esau's the only one dealing treacherously with us, and they dealt not treacherously with the exactly. All right, because we're a peaceful people. When have we ever dealt treacherously with anybody? To Esau, when? Never, man. All right, never. All right, those riots he had, 2 years ago, that wasn't treacherous. All right, we never committed genocide against Esau. All right, we never did anything against Esau, man. You just live under him, under his rule. All right, as a matter of fact, we never dealt treacherously with any other heathen nation. All right, when we were kicking you damn Canaanites, Hittites, Hivites, Jebusites, Amorites, if I'm not mistaken, as well. Basically, you damn Amorites from the land of Canaan. It was because you guys would defile the land, and that was commanded of us to kick you guys out. All right, because you guys defiled the land. So that wasn't dealing treacherously. That was just a job. We were basically house cleaning. All right, house cleaning our land. All right, and we're peaceful people, man. So we never dealt treacherously with anybody, but we will now. All right, because when we get those spiritual bodies, our memories are gonna be restored. All the memories from each single past life, it's gonna be restored. So we're gonna remember all the horrendous atrocities you guys have done to our people, man. Slacky about that. My feet was cut. What I was going into was that we're gonna remember every single thing going back, ranging from thousands of years ago, and those same things we're gonna do double unto you. And that's written in the book of Revelation, the 18th chapter, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong. But going on, it says, "When thou shalt seize the spoil, thou shalt be spoiled, and when thou shalt make an end to deal treacherously, they shall deal treacherously with thee." See, so obviously we're gonna do into you, according to the things you guys have done to us. That's in the book of Obadiah. All right, the First chapter, if I can get that out. Lord will this lesson's edifying. Alright, and it reads verse, alright, Obadiah 1 verse 15, and it reads, for the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen. Alright, all the heathen. As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thine own head. See? So everything you guys have done, we're gonna do to you guys. You guys whipped us and made us to build your kingdom from the ground up. Or Southern Kingdom build your capital and White House, if I'm not mistaken. We're gonna do the same thing to you guys. But you guys will build freaking palaces, hundreds of feet high up in the air, man. All right, and there'll be no scaffolding for you guys. All right, you guys will have to all manage that yourselves, and we're not gonna help you, damn guys. You damn crackers, man. So as thou hast done, it shall be done to thee, and thy reward shall return upon thine own head. And you had Esau working us out in the fields. Or you still got Issachar, working on the fields, only laboring for a small wage. We're gonna do the same thing to you guys. You guys won't be house gringos. Or like you had house negroes. You won't be house gringos. Or you guys are gonna be strictly working on the freaking fields. And if any of you dare cross that perimeter, man, best believe that you guys will catch hell for that. And we don't know what's gonna happen. We don't know what we're gonna do to you, damn crackers. Why? Because as scriptures say, no eye nor ear hath seen or heard what the Lord has prepared for us. So in those spiritual bodies and that mentality we're gonna have against you, man, no one knows. The only thing we could do is just imagine. As scripture say, meditate on terror, right? But lastly, I want to get out the book of Revelation, so like the book of Isaiah, the 14th chapter. All right, Isaiah, the 14th chapter, verse 2. I'm gonna end it off there. I'm gonna start at verse 1 actually. And it reads, for the Lord will have mercy on Jacob and will choose Israel. All right, with that plantation Christianity, you have all these damn, clowns out here saying that the Lord loves all nations. That's not true. All right, because it says right here, and will yet choose Israel. All right, there's no such thing as a spiritual Israel. All right, this is a physical bloodline. Although you got Jake looking like the heathen nations, but it all goes back to that spirit, So, and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land, and the strangers, and those strangers ain't talking about the heathen nations. All right, so to say that the Egyptians will be those strangers being joined to us, that's not true. All right, because none of you heathen nations will partake in the promises. All right, now you heathen nations will rejoice and what's that one word? Be pleased living in the kingdom of heaven. Why? Because everything's gonna be restored to its former glory, to its natural state. Everything will be 100% organic, natural. It won't be synthetic. It won't be man-made. It's gonna be pure. All right, but you guys won't partake in the promises that was promised to the children of Israel. All right, you can't have a kingdom without subjects. So you guys won't have slaves. You guys will be the slaves. So, and the strangers, and those strangers are talking about us. Why? Because we lost our identity, and now we're coming back to we received our identity and are coming back to our heritage. So that's really talking about us. And the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob, and the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids. And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over the oppressors. See? So we're going to rule over you guys, man. We're going to confine you, meaning we're going to chain you up, and we're going to, man, basically you guys will go into slavery. Alright, you guys will be a good to us. We're going to spoil you guys. Because that word, that word spoil basically means to take goods. And what is a good? Alright, a woman is a good. Riches are good. Having power is good. Having slaves is a good. Like the other Apostle Gabar said, true living is when you have multiple women. Alright, have power, have riches, have slaves. Alright, that keyword, slaves. So you guys are going to be our slaves, man. But with that being said, I hope this video was edifying. The Lord will continue to push. Alright, I'm going to give all praises, honor, and glory to the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rachak Kodash. the bonus of the apostles, and others every millstone Ruah, and taught us this 100% truth. Much peace and blessings be unto you all who elect out to push out this word of all truth and sincerity. To all you, I can message Shalom. Abad Babal, DTA soon. Lord, we will out and Shalom.